pond so many times. I've already heard it several times already this week. So just FYI, if you want to stay hydrated, drink water or electrolytes.
Don't want to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
If you want
Is that pest of the day? People
no,
that
not
say
at all.
that.
No, I understand why the
I'm only
people say it.
kidding.
I know I say it for
Yeah.
sure when the Jaguars do play over there. And so we know they left last night around 6 p.m. They landed safely on the wee hours of the morning, London time. I believe they have today off, and then they'll be at practice tomorrow morning. And then, of course, we'll
Like a
hear
regular
from Liam
week.
Cohen.
Yeah.
Very much like a regular week. And because they have their bye week next week, they really did want that team bonding this week, which is why they went early. The Rams, on the flip side, played the Ravens, of course, this past weekend, beat them 17-3. I thought they would beat them, honestly, more, or not necessarily beat them by more, but score more points with just the 17 against the depleted
With that Ravens defense,
and no Lamar Jackson. And then the Rams are staying in Baltimore this week, and then they'll leave Friday.
Wow.
And so it's a much quicker turnaround, but that's how they decided they want to do it, and every team approaches it differently.
Do they have a bye week? Do we know the Rams after?
I'm not.
You know
sure
what I mean? I mean, well, I don't understand why every team wouldn't take the bye week. That seems perfect to take.
I know the
Right
Jaguars
after them,
have not in the past.
Yeah, they
taken the bye
said
week.
no.
they haven't,
But
right.
the Rams do have the bye week. Their next game is
November 2nd.
Yeah, they play host to the
Okay.
Saints the
Yeah,
same
that's
day
what I
that the
would do.
Jaguars take on the Raiders in Vegas.
So make it a normal week over there, and then get the week off, and then you're back to normal. Yeah, that's perfect.
Back to normal is right. All right, a couple roster moves for the Jaguars. They signed tight end Jordan Akins to the practice squad. They released Kadir Ismail from the practice squad. Also a tight end. They ruled linebacker Devin Lloyd with the calf injury out ahead of this Sunday's game, as well as tight end Quentin Morris with an abductor groin injury. That one surprises me.
Neither one traveled.
Neither one traveled to London. The Devin Lloyd one doesn't surprise me. I mean, the fact that he's not traveling at all means that it is certainly very significant, or more significant than I originally thought.
Especially with not saying anything at all, like during the broadcast.
Right.
It was just kind of, we saw Devin standing there, and everyone was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, I texted Brian. I was like, "Have they said something on the TV broadcast?"
They never
They have
did.
said nothing in the press box, which makes absolutely no sense. And they decided not to. That was the coach's decision, which I understand. With calf tightness, you're worried about an Achilles, so he obviously, like we said, didn't travel. The Quentin Morris one, I have no idea when he got hurt. I know he plays a lot of special teams, but there was also no announcement for that either, so I don't know when that injury occurred.
Right. Are they calling Devin lower leg or calf?
They're saying calf.
Yeah, so, man,
it was tightness in the calf, and the fact that he didn't travel at all means obviously they
that's
weren't
pretty. That must be significant, to not go at all. But at the same time, if they feel like he just rehab here, and by the time they get back and back to practice, that'll be 2 weeks. He should be all healed up and ready to go.
And Brenton Strange, it could be 4 games that he's missing. It could also be more than that. Liam spoke to that too. So that injury still baffles me that he didn't even go. Brenton didn't even go into the locker room, have any sort of testing during the game. He just stayed on the sidelines, and now it could be so many, missing more than the 4 games. I feel like you always see a player either go in the medical tent or go in the locker room if it's going to be a some sort of injury.
That's what, Tommy, did you ever, because we were talking about it after, we saw him on the sideline, obviously, with the towel on his head, and you kind of knew he was done for the day at that point. We didn't know the extent. But did you ever see what play it even happened on with Brenton Strange?
No, I didn't. Well, there was one tackle that he kind of got hit in the hip area.
Okay.
And it felt like he kind of got a little, like his body got contorted a little bit. I don't know if that was it.
Yeah.
But listen, I mean, if it was a knee, he wouldn't be standing there, or he'd be on crutches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was an upper body injury, he'd probably be inside.
Yeah, it was a quad hip is what they
so they probably, they don't give you an MRI, I guess, right away, maybe. So they probably didn't know the significance of it. And maybe he's just got a high tolerance for pain. And he's like, nah, I can hang and I want to watch the team. They probably gave him the option.
Yeah.
Now if he's, excruciating pain, he's not going to be standing there. So, obviously it's a significant enough injury they had to put him on IR. But I don't think they, once they did the MRI imaging, they found maybe a tear or whatever. Was it labrum? Did I hear labrum in that, or was it more the quad?
It was
more of a quad tear.
Hip,
I mean, when they say strain or sprain, there's a tear in there somewhere. Like it could be small to significant, but listen, it's fun. It's not funny. You see the difference when he's not out there.
Yeah.
You see the difference with even Trayvon out there, but not effective. I mean, it's a different offense and defense with those 2 guys out of the lineup.
Yeah, if I told you before the season the Jaguars would be 4-2, but they've had games without De'Ami Brown, without Trayvon Walker, without Brenton Strange, without Devin Lloyd going into now week 6 or week 7, you would have said there's no way the Jaguars are going to be 4-2 at that point in time.
At least with Lloyd, I feel good about Ventrell. I think he can play. He can hold the fort down. He may not come up with interception, but he may. I think he's a pretty active player, but he can fill the void a little bit. for
He
Devin.
gets to the ball.
Yeah, he gets to the ball. Yeah, and he
With
delivers it too.
Yeah, with anger.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a violent
like
player.
it.
The
He is.
concern has always been, can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
But I do
Right.
think a lot of people thought he would beat Devin Lloyd out for that linebacker position opposite Foye.
We had the or for a while with that
That's
one.
right. I think a lot of
I'm
people
sure
thought.
we still do.
Yeah, there might still be.
Yeah, right. Devin would be gone. Like I think some people felt like because they didn't do the 5th-year option that, that maybe his future wasn't, here.
It is still an or, by the way. I just
That's so
say,
funny.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make any changes to the depth
At this
chart.
point,
other-
yeah.
other
Right.
than players
But that's why
getting
we've been
traded.
giving so much credit to Devin, because it was coming into a season where you didn't get that 5th-year option and you were battling Ventrell to still to this point where there's the or on the depth chart, and he's played so well. So I do think that when it comes to a player like that, I think Ventrell can play well enough to where you don't see a significant drop off. But what Lloyd's been able to do in the beginning of the season, especially with the turnovers, like that's, I mean, we're talking about he already has 4, and the record in Jacksonville, he would beat it if he hit 8.
Yeah,
And
No,
4
right,
interceptions is insane for
Yeah.
someone that,
No doubt.
we wondered all offseason what the future held for him. And now we're on the flip side going, yes, Ventrell may play well, but I just don't know that he's going to have that same
that impact.
takeaway ability.
It just shows you when you don't have pressure, the takeaways don't come. Takeaways come most of the time when you have pressure on that QB and disrupting that timing. But Darnold had too much time back there, and there was 0 takeaways. Both teams, right? Neither team had a takeaway. I think, right? There were no
correct,
fumbles. There were no interceptions.
There was a fumble that was recovered, if I remember correctly.
Was there?
I don't know. I watch,
Anyway, I thought
sometimes
the
I watch
other
so much
zero.
football that
No, right.
it all
they
starts to
blur-
blend
I know.
together.
You're like, did that happen?
Or weeks start to blend together.
Yeah, right.
You're like, was
Correct.
that this week or last week?
Yeah, exactly. All right, now let's hear from Liam Cohen. We talked in the first segment about those big plays, those quarter beaters that the Seahawks had against the Jaguars. Here is Liam Cohen yesterday talking about how those killed the defense.
We let the ball get thrown over our heads a few times. That's a tough world if you let up 2 60-yarders. And then I will say that Seattle did a great job of calling their shots against the exact coverages that you would want those plays to be drawn up in. Tough one on obviously the post that went, but they hit us on a couple overs to Cup and one in JSN on the over versus 3 deep got us. We stopped the run the way we wanted to. We won 3rd down. Played stout in the red area on the 1 3rd down where they ran it, and we got it made them kick a field goal. We did some really good things, but ultimately those big plays, man, they're killing us.
And those big plays did kill them, for sure. I mean, outside of that, the defense did play well. They did not, like we said, get any takeaways. But I do think that Anthony Campanile is still learning, right? It is his first time as a defensive coordinator. And he's had to go against, the likes of Kyle Shanahan to this point in the season. He's about to go against Sean McVay. And I think Clint Kubiak did a really good job.
Yeah, they did. And again, we're happy they're 4-2, right? And they've got a great chance to go to London and really give the Rams a run for their money and end up 5-2. It just feels like that whole inconsistency part again. You take like the defense; they were phenomenal, except 4 or 5 plays. Trevor was really good, except maybe 4 or 5 plays. Walker Little was really good, except maybe 4 or 5 plays. You catch what I'm getting at here. We got to shorten that up.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be, you're going to get beat. That happens, but it can't be
4, 5, 6 times a game.
A game where it's deciding the game, and they're errors. It's not like just getting beat. I know the announcer's like, he just outran him. Well, he did, but it was outside leverage. It's easy to run away from outside leverage and look like you're just running past the guy, and the safety's not there. If the safety's there, that may be a contested ball. The other big chunk, Wingard lost him. He bid on the fake, and then he lost him. The tight end got behind him, and then he's playing catch up. That's another mental error. That's that's not him just getting beat. That's him just losing his guy and then biting on that fake, and then the guy's behind him. And next thing you know, they got another 60-yarder. What were we gonna say?
And that's when you said earlier, do you need to find new safeties? I don't think that would solve anything. Just because, like you said, it was just a technique error more than anything. Yep. Wingard's a smart guy, and we watched the play again.
Yep.
And he should have never bid on that route.
Right.
But
it didn't threaten his deep quarter
exactly.
enough for him to jump when he jumped. He didn't jump, but stepped forward on that. But, look, it wasn't just him either. I mean, there were plays the corners didn't make. We had no pressure. Obviously, that goes hand in hand. I don't care who's back there. We've seen it with Jake Browning. We've seen it with just about anybody. If they have time, they're going to hit their guys. And I tell you what, if you don't get to Stafford, he's going to put up 500 yards on you and 5 touchdowns like that. Oh, yeah. He is that good.
Even without Puka.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
I saw that
good
arm in
quarterbacks.
person. I saw that arm in person when he was at Detroit.
Oh.
And wow.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
He's throwing 80-yard, and it looked like it was nothing. I couldn't believe how strong his arm was.
That must
and
have been fun to watch.
He still has it, and he has the touch.
Yeah.
He's an all-around great quarterback.
He is.
It looked like the Jaguars were the secondary that were missing pieces, not the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
No, right.
Well, think about it, too. A new corner coming in, first week here. I mean, he's probably used to different calls and communication. I mean, that's another factor as well, coming to a new team and just getting thrown in
it
there.
right away.
Was that his first play? I felt like that was his first play.
I felt like it was one of his first plays if it wasn't.
And
I do feel like now in retrospect, maybe they don't have Newsome play in this game because of the newness, right? He landed on Thursday, first practice on Friday. Maybe you do have Travis Hunter in there more often, or you have Buster Brown in there more often. And so, and again, it's not all Newsome's fault like we've detailed, but I do feel like they were so eager to get him in, that shiny new toy, and it's like, well, you still have corners on this roster that may be better right now because of the communication.
Where is Jarian?
I saw him play on special teams.
Yeah,
and
why
that's
isn't
all
he
we've
getting
seen.
some run at that corner if they need corner, help?
They obviously like Buster more than that, and they like Travis
I like
Hunter
Buster
more
too.
than-
Buster made some good
more than
plays.
Jarian.
It is interesting
You
because
like saying Buster?
I do, yeah. That's a great name. I tell you, that one pass breakup, watching it yesterday, him driving on that route, that was
he
was
made
a
two
beautiful thing.
back-to-back plays that it felt like that was if the Jaguars were going to come back and win that game, it felt like those would have been turning points if the offense had been able to score.
The first one, Darnold threw it late, so he made up for that space. But that second one, he threw it on time. It was a great throw. It would have been a catch, but man, he cut and drove right on it and made a nice pace. It was great. Yeah, he did. That was nice.
I mentioned Travis Hunter. Bees, what did you think of his performance this week?
He was quiet this week to me, Like, even on defense, I mean, he was around the plays, but I didn't see any. I don't know. I think it's tough being in a zone corner and you don't have the pressure like we usually have.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that, this game went the way it went. 7 sacks versus 1.
Right.
Usually you're going to lose that game.
Yeah. How about bread and butter to him on offense? Like, that's, like he could do that out route all day long and nobody would be able to keep up with that.
But it's like they knew that play was coming. The screen.
The screen.
I mean, they were on it. They were calling that out before he even motioned.
Yeah.
Well, they know Liam Cohen loves the screen game.
Yeah.
They had just faced the Bucks, who also, of course, love the spring game, the screen game. I love spring games in college football. That has nothing to do with today. I said this yesterday, Bees. Yesterday or Sunday was the first time I was a little disappointed with the play calling
game
from
planning.
Liam Cohen.
I didn't like game planning.
I agree with that.
Especially when you have 3 of their secondary out.
Correct.
I would have been throwing that out to Brian all game.
Yeah, and listening to Coach Ingram on the show, on the way in, he's like, look, you gotta go back to like 19 rushes. Like, you got to give me 5 where you're like, listen, just go out there and pound that line. Give it all you got. Let's see if we can just get a little something going. He's like, don't abandon the run. And I agree with that. I mean, I don't think you needed another 10 or 15 carries. Don't get me wrong. But I think you needed a little bit more. I think you put it too much in the passing game, too much in those screens. Those bubble screens, Bees will tell you, man, you sniff it out, it's over.
Yeah.
It's just over. Like, no, I don't care who's catching the ball. If that DB or whoever defender's out there, if they beat that block and they snuff it out real quick, it's going to be a loss almost every time.
I feel like this team doesn't have a running back that can really run between the tackles. And against the Seahawks, I feel like that style of back would have been a little bit better. Like, Etienne just wasn't going to gain the yards that he needed to. The offensive line wasn't going to be able to create enough space for him. And he's a guy that needs that space. He's got good vision. But a guy like Bijan Robinson, I feel like, then you can run the football as many times as you want to, and he can do it all. But it's a situation on Sunday where you feel like maybe the Jags have a little advantage as far as the travel goes, and then maybe all the other advantages almost seem to go with the Rams. Yeah, the quarterback, the coach, the offensive line, the pass rush, the running backs.
They can run the ball. Yeah,
it probably all goes. Receivers maybe with the Jags if Puka Nakua's out, but other than that, it feels like the Rams have a lot of the on-field advantages.
On Tuesday before the Sunday game, I feel like I'm going to struggle picking a Jags victory.
I can understand that.
And it's not that I don't believe they can't do it, but the question is, these things we're talking about that we've talked about, what these different positions, are those cracks in the armor, or are those just little spells that they're going to get over? And I don't know that answer right now.
None of us do. I don't know if they do.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right,
I really
Lauren.
think that's why they're working on this team bonding. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be not taking stuff down to the studs, but going back to the fundamentals and the alignment.
Which we saw them have to do in camp.
Correct.
And
that's
it did feel like it fixed some things, so maybe that's what they need. Because I heard Coach Ingram say, we keep saying every week, if they weren't doing, if these penalties weren't happening or if the drops weren't happening, this would be a really good offense. We can't still be saying that in week 12. Then you've got a problem. It's more than cracks. You're broken at that.
We're already in week 7 for crying out loud. All right, more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey here, thanking you so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube. But before you click away, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and be sure to check out our other team-specific channels on the 1010XL network on YouTube.